It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
This sounded, when I wrote this, I was like, I don't know that it needs to sound that deep, but it is where you do realize your mortality is legit. Mm-hmm. This is why people have midlife crises and other things, because you might be over the halfway point in life or right there at it. And you've also started having a little bit of success now to where the sales folks really are looking at you kind of like a black bear does at a campsite that has a bunch of open jars of Costco peanut butter. I mean, it really is one of those things where this is where the retailers...
Is that a thing? Do black bears like peanut butter?
When you go camping in the Tennessee mountains, they will tell you secure your camp groceries and everything else.
Butter?
Why, have you ever been to the mountains and seen what they do to trash cans? They got trash cans in the ground, Bo. Black bears can get into stuff. And that's the way retailers look at you.
I assumed it was bacon and meats. I didn't know it was the peanut butter that they were going after.
Maybe I could have, instead of black bears, I could have talked about my pug Winston.
There we go.
He's deceased now, but he loved him some peanut butter. But look, I love peanut butter, so maybe I'm a black bear that needed some peanut butter, and I was thinking about it in those terms.
I love it.
But it is, you're not immune. Your kids are getting older. Simplicity is getting away from you, and you have all these social contracts that are being laid on you that you feel like you have to accomplish.
Yep.
So let's jump in these. Pride and fear. This is the part where, oh my goodness, I'm getting older. Can I fight this? Mm-hmm. So that's the pride part, the ego. But then it's the fear part of that, oh my gosh, I'm getting older, so I need to do these things for health as well.
Yeah, I think one of the things where we see this, and I think this one actually manifests both in a pride and a fear sense, is we call them dumb doctor deals. These things that folks who kind of around this age, they get into, and they do it generally for one or two reasons. Even they've reached a level where they think, oh, I need to be doing more, something more complicated, something more aggressive.
Why would I do an index fund? Everybody does index funds.
It's just not enough. Or this fear idea of, oh man, I'm kind of behind the eight ball. I got to catch up. So I got to go be in this really aggressive, crazy type of thing. What is it that makes you think that's actually the best thing, the thing that's best for you? Is probably something that someone else has said, not because it's actually what's in your best interest.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest things I can't stand about dumb doctor deals is that a lot of doctors think this is what success looks like, so this is why they get roped into this. The seller knows that they make good incomes. Doctors fall prey to the ego that, hey, I don't buy what ordinary people buy. I'm smarter than that, and they fall right hook, line, and sinker into something that's complex, expensive, and probably less than ideal for their net worth statement.
And another one I think that is really frustrating, that I see in my 40s, and you're going to be able to speak to this much better than I can, because I don't fully get it yet, but I'm sure I will one day, is this idea of the negativity of aging, right? The negativity of like, now we have to start looking at like vitamin supplements and skincare and plastic surgery.
I'll tell you what's going on. I feel this is that you're like, I'm having a good time. I don't feel old. I'm still very mobile. I still exercise. I'm having a great time. But you realize, oh my God, I'm at halfway. I got to do something to stay above ground. I mean, Pitbull has it in some of his lyrics. You hear he's thinking about these things too, because it is. You're like, I'm getting older, so I better buy some products that are going to not only make me healthier, make me look younger. I mean, there's all kind of treatments. I mean, you can't turn on the TV without some type of cosmetic surgery or diet pill. There's all these things, or the big hurt pushing testosterone on you. I mean, these things are everywhere, trying to tell you to be the best version of yourself. It's playing upon your ego, as well as the fear that time is getting shorter, so you better do something about it to protect yourself.
And I do feel like this is also that age where a lot of folks, because of the ego, they do start thinking, oh, well, now I need to go buy the vacation home or the RV or the boat or the sports car, and okay, I have a healthy income. I can afford it. I can do the monthly payment thing.
I mean, I've had friends that have bought the RVs that create the memories. And they're like, can you believe they gave this to me for $200 a month? And I'm like,
yeah, I can.
Yeah, because it depreciated like a rock. You'll own it. You'll be paying those $200 for the rest of your life. But it is one of those things. You can afford anything $200 at a time. Pay attention to this stuff, because that leads to kind of mistruths and manipulations. Examples here. This is the part where you're asking yourself, is this as good as it gets? I'm thinking about like midlife crises. And here, this is the point where you're wondering, is the grass greener? This is you're misleading yourself, thinking, am I doing everything I'm supposed to? Should I go elsewhere?
Right.
And it's really scary manipulating yourself in that way. And this is the part also as a parent. We've already talked for about 20-year-olds with colleges. Parents do the same thing. We really feel like we got to send our kids to the best and greatest school to give them the best opportunities. You just have to be careful about these things. And the kids are growing up, so you do these grand gestures of huge vacations, the European vacation. That's fine. Just make sure you can actually afford it.
That's one of the things you said, Brian. You know, we talk about like the senior trip you want to take on. Because you've even talked about this. You're trying to put things in your family because you know that your daughter will be going off to school soon. And you recognize you should do this. But those things don't have to be expensive. They just have to be done and be memorable, mean something where you build those sorts of memories with your kids.
It's a good point. Just because memories don't have to be expensive.
That's exactly right.
Make sure you form. Like I said, if you're financing vacations, you're doing it wrong. It will have a hangover is what it's going to create for you, a debt hangover. So let's talk about invisible social contracts. This is you know, it all ties into best life ever. You know, this is also where salespeople will jump in there, free steak dinners. I get, I'm not even going to say the wealth managers, but I knew that I obviously had started making on the success databases when I started getting, there's a financial advisory firm that sends out free steak dinner seminars all over the country. I get them all the time now. I'm trying to figure out if I should
Can you take a plus one?
I don't think they would let me in. I think they even have in the disclosure that if you are a financial representative, you're not supposed to go.
You can't go get your free steak
dinner.
dinner.
But it is free steak. Why do you think they're offering you free steak dinners, guys? On the free social, on the social contract, they're thinking you come up, you get the free steak dinner. You're probably going to walk away with a new financial advisor or an annuity or some other financial product that maybe it's okay, but it definitely was kind of greased through the process by using this invisible social contract.
How about this one? How about when you and your spouse go on a vacation and they say, hey, do you want a free hour, 2 hours in the massage, or do you want to go on this free excursion? All you got to do is sit through a little presentation about how wonderful it is to own our property. Yeah. And we'll send you on a free fill in the blank. There's a reason they're doing that because that's the prime time where they think if you get this free thing, you got to sit the presentation, they can sell you on their timeshare, their property ownership, or whatever the thing is that they're pitching.
Anything that you have to grease the skids with huge gifts ought to tell you timeshares are not the great. Now, look, I know if some of you are going to write me and you're going to say, I love my timeshare. That's great. Tell me in 30 years if you still love your timeshare, because that's the thing is you're basically saying a blood pact when you do these things. You know, I think I put on there once in a lifetime senior trips or the Sweet 16 parties, all these other things you feel like you ought to do with your kids. There's a reason Clark Griswold and all those vacation movies kind of touched so many of us because we feel the pressure of trying to create these most spectacular, epic journeys and memories for our kids that they kind of, National Lampoon's made a lot of funny and a lot of money off of the whole process.
And the other thing I think that we see too is when you do get in the 40s and you start getting that place, you start thinking, well, now I have to upgrade because I can, because I've reached the point, I have to buy the bigger house or buy the bigger car, put the swimming pool in. And there's nothing wrong with doing those things. What's wrong is when you do those things because you just think it's the next step, not because you actually place value on it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to swim upstream. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Exactly right.
Make sure it fits into your why and all your financial planning goals, that it's not some manipulation by this inner voice telling you this is where I'm at and this is what success looks like.